Hello, good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our Discover Hospitality at Georgia State University info session. My name is Shannon Dunham, and I am the Administrative Coordinator for the Cecil B. Day School of Hospitality. And I am going to be the host for today. Joining me is our Business Coordinator, Chow Wen, who would be assisting me with so if you guys wouldn't mind, like as I'm presenting, just go ahead and direct your questions to Chow, and then she'll just chime in just to stop me from talking or stop me from presenting so that we can hear from you guys. Another person who's joining me today is Hannah Holden. She's one of our student assistants and is a current hospitality major. She's also majoring in marketing, which is really cool to be a double major, but we'll get more into double majoring and all of that later. But like I said, Hannah is also joining us, and you'll be able to hear from her a little bit later too. So just as like a little reminder, like direct all of your questions to Chow within the chat box, or you can even use the Q&A. Later on, we will be able to just unmute you guys. So if you have questions that you just want to ask spur of the moment, just go ahead and use that hand raise feature, and we'll stop what we're doing so that we can hear your questions. All right. So this right here, like this is just a snapshot of what we're going to go over today. And it's just, like what is hospitality? Like what incorporates a BBA in hospitality? We'll talk about a couple of career options and just things that you can do even as a student right now. And then we're going to hear from a student. So we're going to hear from Hannah a little bit later. All right. So this side here is just to remind all of our like traditional freshmen who might be watching this. So if you are going through the process of graduating through high school this year, you're a high school senior, these are some important deadlines to remember, or excuse me, if you've already graduated in the spring and you're looking to start at Georgia State in the spring semester, next year's spring semester, the early application deadline did finish or did end in October, but you still do have time. December 1st is our regular application deadline, so make sure that, if you are in the process of finishing your application, you do have one more month left to get everything in and get everything done. Another couple of like really good websites for you to look into. We have like a full traditional freshman admissions timeline. So this right here that's on the screen is just a little bit of a snapshot, but if you want the full extended timeline, including like, like scholarship admissions deadlines and different things like that, I would highly suggest that you guys go visit this site. Of course, there are other info sessions that are hosted by GSU admissions that go really in depth as to like what the admissions process is and like what different, like what makes a strong application for admissions into Georgia State. So I would highly suggest you guys jump onto those info sessions a little later in the semester. And if you are interested in doing like a virtual campus tour, I encourage you guys to do that if you, for whatever reason, you aren't able to visit Georgia State in person, and that's through like bit.ly/GSU virtual tour. So I hope you guys are able to do that because it's kind of like a really cool platform to look into. And of course, if you think that you are ready to apply and you haven't started an application yet, go ahead and take a screenshot and take a look at this VR code and head to that link so you can apply today. Moving on, so a really cool thing about Georgia State is that here at GSU, we have over 200 majors, which is a lot to have to shift through and figure out like what are your interests, like what do you want to do, like why are you here, right? What did you choose? But luckily, all of these majors are are placed in 9 easily recognizable colleges. Today, our focus is the J. Mack Robinson College of Business, which is where you can find the Cecil B. Day School of Hospitality. But you'll see here, there are other options, like 9 other options within the J. Mack Robinson College of Business that you can choose from. But just to make sure everyone is aware, you are able to double major, which is something that Hannah's doing. She's double majoring in hospitality and has a major in marketing. But another option that you guys can choose if, choosing is a little difficult is maybe you want to major in hospitality and have like a minor in a different in a different subject, right? And you don't just need to minor or double major within your one college. You can spread out and double major and minor in different colleges. So let's say, for example, you have an interest in journalism, can major in hospitality and minor in journalism and be able to combine your interests that way too. So just keep that in mind as you're discovering or figuring out like what kind of major you want to go into or what kind of career path you want to create for yourself. There's tons of different options, tons of different interesting options that you can choose from. Cool. Yeah. So moving on, like I mentioned, Georgia State and the different colleges and like the major options within the Robinson College of Business or the BVA options in the Robinson College of Business. So let's take a little bit of a deep dive within to what is hospitality. So just to make it really simple, hospitality we can put into kind of like 4 buckets to help us describe just like what are the different avenues you can take within hospitality. Of course, you can combine like some of these segments and again create a really cool and awesome career path for yourselves. But starting with hotel and lodging, I think that name is relatively it explains itself. But one thing to think about is what if you're interested in hotel and lodging, but you want to go into real estate. You can join a real estate development company that specializes in hotels. So like again, like just start thinking about like, okay, well, how can you combine like your interest with hospitality? There are tons and tons of different ways, right? Other than like the different really cool opportunities that you can have in hospitality or career opportunities you can have in hospitality, there are other really interesting things that makes hospitality cool. So one thing, of course, is that you will always find a job. And I do understand that, during COVID, finding a job has been really difficult for a variety and for a lot of people. But just know that like the hospitality industry has already started building itself back up, like the hotel industry, the restaurants and events and entertainment and the recreation side. All of hospitality is starting to pick back up, and jobs are starting to come back to that. Jobs being added every 2.6 seconds. It's coming back to that. And even now, even if you can't find your dream job right now or like your dream career right now, it will be back. So just make sure you keep that in mind. So moving on to just like international opportunities. So like when you think of just like international businesses, like the first couple of things that might come to mind would be Disney, right? Everybody knows what Disney is. Everyone knows what Coca-Cola is. Everyone has seen or at least heard of the Marriott International, which is a hotel management company. So when you think about another good one would be Delta, right? Like it has its home base right in downtown Atlanta. So if you're interested in travel, if you're interested in tourism, like working for Delta would be a really cool opportunity too. So like I said, there's tons of international and even just like travel opportunities for you within the world of hospitality. The industry is growing and people will always want to travel. People will always want to have like new and exciting experiences, and hospitality is one of those diverse and flexible industries that can bring that about. And so that is those 3 reasons are kind of like the top 3 reasons of what makes hospitality cool. Yeah, so that was just like a really broad introduction or a brief introduction to just like what hospitality is in general. But moving on to our department, so the actual Cecil B. DeWitt School of Hospitality, we are, like I said before, we are within the Robinson College of Business. So like all the courses that we take and that we offer are not only have a focus in hospitality, but also bring into it an element of business school studies. So everything that you're learning, just like if you were an accounting major, there are courses that you take that are the same that you take as a hospitality major. So your business background is just as strong. So that's something to keep in mind too. So one really cool thing about our department is that we have a combination of 400 years of work experience, and that's divided between like our staff and our faculty as well as our industry board members. That our board members are are people who are in top positions at their company. So like one person who I can think of, her name is Karen Bremer, and she is the current like president of the Georgia Restaurant Association. Another person would be Tal Mallory, who is the current human resource director for Chick-fil-A. So it's like when you think about, okay, like what kind of connections can I make? Think top business leaders within the hospitality industry. A really cool thing about our faculty, like I said, like we have a 400 years of combined experience. So like all of our faculty have work experience. So if you have questions about jobs, if you have questions about, like wanting to network and get your name out there, talking to our faculty is going to be like the number one thing I would suggest for everyone to do. Yeah. And another really awesome thing about our department is that we have awarded, or we award annually $52,000 of scholarships to our students. Of course, our scholarships are only available to our hospitality majors. But that said, like all of our majors, when they apply, all of them get scholarships because we all make sure that all of our students get the right opportunities and experiences to make sure that they have a strong scholarship application, and that like they are awarded scholarships that show and that award them for their merit. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're interested in hospitality scholarships, you do need to be a hospitality major. On to just like a little bit more about like what kind of program options we have. So as I've been saying all this time, when you get a BBA in hospitality, that's a bachelor's of business administration, right? Another thing that we offer is a minor in hospitality. And what consists of this is that you just need to take 5 hospitality courses. We do have one mandatory course for all of our minors, and that's the Perspectives in Hospitality, or HADN 3010. And we'll actually get a little bit more into our courses later, but just keep that in mind that it's 5 classes, 1 mandatory class. We do have a certificate in hospitality, and now this isn't, like a certification in, be a certification in travel tourism. Like this is a certificate of completion that just proves you have taken 4 hospitality classes of your choosing, and that you have passed them with like a certain grade. So if for whatever reason you aren't able to complete a minor, a certificate program or our certificate program is there for you as well. We also have a master's program as well. The Reginald G. Washington Masters of Global Hospitality Management is obviously for students who are interested in, after they get their BBA or after they get their undergraduate degree and they want to move on to higher education or move on with their higher education. We do have a 1-year master's degree, which makes our program really unique. You don't really find like 1-year programs or 1-year master's programs that are within a business school. You don't find those that often. So if you are interested in information about our master's program or any of these other programs, feel free to contact us, and we'll talk about like how you guys can contact us a little later. This is a little snapshot of what a BBA in hospitality will look like for all students, no matter like where you're starting. These are kind of this is kind of like a checklist, or it is a checklist of all the courses that you would be looking to take. So let's focus on one particular area. So area F, all 6 of these classes are business foundation level courses that all students, even all Robinson College of Business majors, needs to complete before they're able to move on to their junior and senior level courses, or their 3,000 to 4,000 level courses. The reason why you guys need to be able to pass this area with a minimum GPA of 2.8 is because like we want to ensure that you guys have like the basics, that you have everything, all the foundations down and ready, so that when you move on to your junior and senior level classes, you're not going to be left behind. You're not going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. So we make sure that you get all of the little things down pat before you move on to your major courses. And speaking of major courses, we have a couple of examples on here as to like what you can expect to be taking throughout your junior and senior levels as a hospitality major in particular. So on here we have like hospitality branding. So if you are interested in doing like events marketing and you want to get a little bit of the background in that, that's a really cool course to take. Strategic leadership, right now right now, most of our students, or all of our students who are taking this course, are able to submit a project where they can present for a STR competition, which is a market research competition. So yeah, like we teach you guys like how to do market studies, and you even have an opportunity to be able to present in a internationally recognized competition, which is a really cool opportunity. Another great class that we offer is our HADM 4900 field experience. So all of our students graduate with a minimum of 400 unit work hours before they graduate. So we prove to our employers, we prove to the recruiters that you guys are ready to work, because we don't want you guys to think that like, oh, like I'm majoring hospitality. When I graduate, I am just going to be a server. No, we are teaching you guys how to be business managers. We're teaching you how to run the organization that you're going to work for. We are preparing you so that when you graduate, you get your supervisory or management level positions. And we are really proud to say that most of our students do graduate with that management position like already in the bag. So if you guys do have questions about like, earning work experience and what counts as work experience in hospitality, please make sure you let us know. Even if you have questions, put those in chat or in the Q&A. We would love to hear what kind of questions you guys have. So just moving on to our elective courses, this is where you really are able to create and define your career. So if you are someone who is interested in event management and maybe you want to own your own, like event management company, and maybe you want to actually own like a building where you can like produce events, like live events, right? So a group of courses that we totally encourage you to take would be like the HADM 3600, which is our event management course, HADM 3770, which is franchising entrepreneurship. If you wanted to have like multiple venues, that is totally like a course that you should take, as well as HADM 4200, which is our venue management course. We have a lot of students who major in sports administration who take this venue management class because it also takes into consideration really large, huge venues. So when you think of places for concerts, when you think of like sports arenas, right? Like that is like pretty much where we're headed with this class. So that's another great one too. So after this event, we will be sending out an email that has like all of these links, as well as this flyer here that's on the screen. And on the other side of this flyer is a list of all of our hospitality classes with the course description. So if you have any questions about like what is, HADM 3760 or 3750, you can definitely like just flip that over to the second page to see what exactly this class is about. And of course, if you want a more like in-depth look onto certain classes, you're more than welcome to contact us. And so right here, we are going to hear from a student. So Chow, if you wouldn't mind getting Hannah unmuted one more time. And we are just going to hear from her about like just her interactive learning experiences, and just like hear about like what we are doing now and what we plan on doing for the future. So Hannah, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So, hey guys, once again, I'm Hannah. I'm a senior currently in the hospitality program. I'm graduating in the spring. But I would have to say, like Georgia State, one of the things I love about our program specifically, our hospitality program, is how interactive it is and how involved we are with our industry. It's kind of unbeatable, honestly. You can see a picture down on the bottom of the slide about the Hunter Conference. I actually intern there right now, but every year students have the opportunity to volunteer at that conference. And, there's top level executives from the lodging industry, like the CEO of Marriott and Hilton and Choice Hotels, like all of them are there, and you get the opportunity to like connect and network. Chick-fil-A headquarters is here in Atlanta, so we always have students. I'm actually in Dr. Lawrence's franchising class this semester. Due to COVID, we can't go tour, but typically you get to go to Chick-fil-A headquarters and like see their operations of like what a real franchise looks like and, what they're doing. And, there's our study abroad programs. There's also tons of volunteer opportunities. Personally, I volunteered at the Super Bowl when it was here in Atlanta. I volunteered with a huge chefs collaborative that came through. And it was like top chefs and like artisan butchers and people in the industry that came just to kind of have a weekend together to like connect, and you get great food for free if you volunteer. Yeah, so there's just tons of volunteer opportunities, and in class as well. They're constantly, my professors always bring in guest speakers to talk to us from the industry. And I think that's really pertinent, like Shannon talked about earlier, like you're graduating to go into a management position. And so getting that real world experience is like absolutely vital, especially in like now, like you're competing, coming out in the hospitality industry after something like COVID. Our students are able to stand out because we have actually gotten that experience in the real world. So.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, Hannah. And Hannah brought up a good point too about just getting involved and being able to just say yes to opportunities that come your way, because you never know when you won't be able to do them, or when you will be able to do them again, or when they'll like pop up again throughout the year. So, but one thing to keep in mind is that we do offer exchange programs. So, for example, we do have like semester long exchange programs in various countries. We can send more information out about that as well. We do have our European hospitality experience. Students travel to France, Switzerland, and Italy for their Maymester course, which is really, really exciting, that we love being able to send students out for. And you bring up a good point that, like we have like in-person or in-class guest speaker events, but or guest speaker opportunities within a classroom. But, even now, like we're able to do it we're still able to bring in guest speakers and do virtual venue visits and venue tours within the classroom as well. So that's something to keep in mind if you are interested in hospitality and you want to be able to meet industry professionals. Taking our classes is one of those ways to do that. So Hannah also was mentioning, or before we were mentioning just like having industry links, meeting those industry professionals. Another thing that we can do outside of the classroom, of course, is meeting faculty and staff, like beyond the classroom experience, and joining student organizations and being able to volunteer, like the Super Bowl, right? Like that's a really unique opportunity, a really unique thing that you can put onto your resume that I'm sure other that recruiters would really love to talk to you about and get your experience on. So make sure that that you are on our email list, and that you are getting involved with the School of Hospitality. Right here, we want to be able to hear from Hannah one more time. If you, Hannah, could just talk to us about like the different student organization opportunities. And I know you already talked about volunteer, but just do you have any unique experiences as a student org leader?
Yeah, so as you can see, we have 6 different student organizations. I personally am president of IAEE, the International Association of Exhibition and Events. And kind of the main focus of our student orgs is to get you out there and involved in the hospitality community, and to also connect with other students who have similar interests. So as you can see, these student orgs kind of focus in on specific like segments, like the buckets that Shannon was talking about earlier. It kind of focuses in on those areas within the hospitality industry. So you get more focalized experience and learn more within that area that you're interested in. All of these are free to join right when you start at Georgia State. The only one that is invite is our Eta Sigma Delta, which is our like Hospitality Honor Society. And that's through invite, through keeping those grades up and doing well in your classes. And it's definitely worth it. It's a great thing to add to your resume, to be like, hey, like not only was I getting my degree in hospitality, but I kept awesome grades, and like I did really well and engaged well with those opportunities. So
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. And so just to add on to what Hannah was saying, just moving on to like the volunteer opportunities on the screen here, we have a couple of photos with groups of students. So like at the top, we had sent a group of students last year to volunteer with the PGA Tour. So if you're someone who's interested in golf, or like, you know, you want to get interested in golf and just figure out like what's so great about it, that was like a really awesome opportunity that we were able to send students to. Down at the bottom, we were able to send a group of students from the National Society of Minorities in Hospitality, one of our student organizations. We were able to send them over to Houston so that they can attend a conference. So, you know, we have some really unique experiences, even like I've been saying, like within the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. So if you're able to get involved as a volunteer, if you're able to get involved with a student organization, the opportunities just keep coming. Yeah. And so to get involved with hospitality is getting involved as with your work experience, right? So like, what can you do as a hospitality major? What kind of career can you expect to have? And honestly, because hospitality is so broad, you can take your career anywhere. And so like, I will be able to send this flyer out to everyone just so you can see like a really basic view, a basic level of what you can do in hospitality. But one thing to think about is, okay, like you could be a corporate travel director, or you can be a travel writer, right? Like you can write for the Forbes travel guide. Like they have an office in downtown Atlanta, and they've asked us to, you know, send over resumes of students who have like a background in not only hospitality, but also they might have like a minor or like an interest in journalism. So it's really important to keep your options open and to, you know, like have and to combine like your interests, because there are so many different opportunities for you. Yeah. So moving, I've been saying all this time that it's like really easy to create your career when you have like different things that you are interested in. Like a really cool opportunity here would be to be like a production manager. So if you're interested in large scale events, large scale live events, right? So I'm pretty sure most of you might have heard of Live Nation. That has an element of hospitality in it as well. So if you have an interest in hospitality and an interest in like film and media and like that kind of production, you can combine that and work work for Live Nation, work as a production manager, work for the tour or like PGA Tour Championship, right? Like that's a large scale event too. So there are so many different options that you could choose from. And the real question should be just like not exactly like what kind of career do you want to create. It's more like, what do you want to do? And let's figure out like what are the different types of career paths that we can help you discover and choose for yourself. And so right here in the middle of the screen, if you guys do want to take a screenshot, this QR code will send you directly to the hospitality or the School of Hospitality online job board, where we're constantly updating it and putting in new jobs. So if you guys are interested in developing your hospitality experience, be sure to check back on that website constantly, because like I said, we update it almost every week. All right. Well, now we are going to officially meet Hannah, our student assistant, and she is graduating next year in the spring, which is so awesome. I'm so excited for you. But, you know, we kind of had you introduce yourself, Hannah, but if you wouldn't mind doing it one more time, just so that everybody's clear of who you are.
For sure. So once again, Hannah, I am double majoring in hospitality and marketing. Like Shannon was talking about earlier, like I just had kind of diverse interests that I really wanted to pinpoint and be able to combine and make myself like more valuable to a future employer. So that's why I went with that. I am president of IAEE and a member of Eta Sigma Delta. On the marketing side, as you can see, I'm a member of the American Marketing Association, which is, you know, our student orgs, any student orgs, I really encourage you to jump in and participate. But yeah, I'm from South Georgia, actually. I mean, I guess I'm a little more personal for you guys, but just to know, like, people come from all different backgrounds, and like Georgia State is such a diverse campus to, you know, like really expand yourself and expand your worldview about things around you. But I grew up in a very rural county in South Georgia and moved up to the big city. And, you know, like Georgia State is just a fantastic opportunity to broaden your horizons, because you are in the middle of a huge city that has like tons of like hospitality industry giants that are at your fingertips to get involved with. So.
Awesome, cool, thank you. So you kind of answered like my part of my second question, but like you let us know why it was like Georgia State University, but like why did you choose like the School of Hospitality as your major?
I chose hospitality. I started off initially in high school. I got involved with hospitality when I was in 10th grade, and I wanted to go to culinary school. And, my dad, being encouraging, he was like, but like, can at least get like a 2-year business degree. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. Like, make my dad proud, so on. So I started looking at programs, and I didn't even know you could get a degree in hospitality. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And I started researching, and I found hospitality, and I was like, wow, this like hits every area of interest I have. And so I started looking up programs, around the country at different universities, and I came across Georgia State. And what honestly made it stick out to me, like Georgia State's hospitality program, was number one, it was in the business school, which was, I think, is one of its key defining factors, because a lot of other hospitality programs are like a bachelor's of arts degree or a bachelor's of science, which is great, but the bachelor's of business like kind of sets you apart, I feel, from other students, and kind of takes you a step up, honestly, because you are getting that business financial management background that other students coming out into the industry might not have. So I think that's really important. And then also for just like job dependability, if you have a BBA, like it's a lot easier to find a job in any segment or industry. So that was really defining for me. And then as we've like continued to like push on, like just the opportunity, like being in Atlanta around so many key industry participants, that was really what sold me. And, for me, at least, like our campus is right downtown Atlanta, like in between classes, it's called Broad Street. That's where our office is located. But we also have some classroom buildings, and you're walking on Broad Street, which pre-COVID, and it'll be when COVID like goes away, but you're walking on Broad Street, and like you're among so many business people, and it just really pushes this like professional agenda, I guess, that like you get used to it early, and you learn how to exist in that type of world. And you could be waiting in line at the pizza shop, Rosa's Pizzas. If you come to Georgia State, got to go to Rosa's. But you could be in line next to like the CEO of like Georgia Pacific, and you just never know who you're gonna bump into. And that's just what's kind of really great about Georgia State and our program specifically, is it's just your world of opportunity is so wide.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, you're so right that it's like you can just be going out to get lunch, and you're next to a president or a CEO, and you might have met them in class, and so you can start up a conversation. You would have the confidence to do that because you already know who this person is, and so that's a really good point to make for sure. So I know, just speaking of industry professionals, like I know that you have completed many different internships and had many different positions, like over your time at Georgia State. But like, what has been like your favorite internship experience?
Um, so I have two. One is kind of like the most interesting, like most fun. And that was, I did an internship with a Ted Turner Reserve. So Ted Turner, who owns Turner Media, obviously, pretty sure all of you know who he is. He also owns a group of kind of eco sustainability ranches. And so one of these is out in New Mexico. It's a 5,000 acre ranch, and it's a high end luxury boutique lodge. And so I went out there for a summer as a front desk agent, which that's what I started as. They ended up having us do tons of different things, and I was able to like learn a lot. But the whole purpose of their operation is they're using hospitality to fund eco-conservation and environmental sustainability, which I think is fantastic. It's, you learn to want to work for a company that has a greater purpose than just profit. And like you just learn how to serve people on a very specialized basis. We had profiles of clients like running 20 years, like they'd been coming to us for 20 years. And so it was just a really unique opportunity there, and a beautiful landscape too. One of my other favorites is currently the job I have right now. I work for Hunter Hotel Advisors, and they're an investment advisory firm here in Atlanta. So basically, like, they're real estate brokers, but instead of doing like homes, they do hotels. So it's deals on a larger scale. And that's where also, like, kind of creating your own blend of your interests. Like, say you want to major in hospitality and get a minor in finance or a minor in real estate, like, you could come work for Hunter. And that's the kind of place that you would be. And I also work for their conference. They put on a huge investment conference for the hotel industry, and that's where we host the executives like Arnie Sorensen and Chris Nassetta, all of these people that are, key figures in the industry. But I've been able to learn tons and tons and tons from this internship here that I never would have thought that I'd be capable of being exposed to while I was still in school, like not even fully in the industry yet. And they were kind enough to like keep me on during COVID because I was actually going to go work at Vermejo, the Ted Turner Reserve again. But because of COVID, things there didn't necessarily work out exactly. And so they kept me on during the summer, and it could not have been a better experience. Like, yes, like our industry took a very big hit during that time, but we're also one of the ones most quickly recovering. And, I was able to like get on calls with those people, like those top executives from our industry, like as everything was going down. I was like watching on the television, like Arnie or Chris like talks, and then like, a day or two later, like I'm on a conference call with them. And it's just like really amazing to like be exposed like firsthand to that kind of stuff. So internships, volunteer jobs, it's all so vital to like really differentiating yourself and making yourself more valuable to a future employer.
That was fantastic. Like I feel like we can end the we can end this right here. Like that was just like a really, really good answer, and it just shows that it's like, if you are someone who exposes yourself with purpose and gets yourself out there, like you might get a chance to continue on and stay with a company that just gives you like tons of experience that you wouldn't have thought that you would be able to get. Like the fact that Hannah, like she's been working with Hunter since last semester fall. Technically she's been doing this for a whole entire year, and I'm pretty sure that she's been able to get like so much valuable experience and so many valuable connections, like not only with the people who she's on phone calls with and things like or conference calls with, but also just like the people within the Hunter Hotel Advisors. It's just a wealth of knowledge and experience. So I'm so happy that you were able to get that internship. That's for sure. So
Yeah, and
going
I would
on,
just like
yeah.
to say with that, like I got that internship because of the School of Hospitality and the connections they had. And Chow actually called me personally and was like, "Hey Hannah, like I think this is a great opportunity. Would you like to like take this?" And I was like, "Sure." Like I had no idea what I was honestly signing up for at that time, or like what a great opportunity it would be. But that's what you get from our School of Hospitality. Like, it's we're kind of a smaller program within the School of Business, but it's kind of the best part is you get so much focalized attention on you and like what you want to be and what you want to do within the industry. And like Shannon and Chow and Dr. Cannon and all the other staff genuinely care about not only like your professional career and your student career, but you personally, like how are you doing? Like what can we do for you to make this experience better? And I think that's hard to find anywhere else.
Cool. Right, exactly. And that also just, answers my other question. Like I was going to ask you, like how has like the School of Hospitality like helped you connect with the industry and find jobs? And that honestly was a perfect example. But if you have anything else to add to that, I'm sure we'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So what I just said, and then also on top of that, classes, like having speakers and panelists and like virtually joining in on different panels and stuff, has been really helpful to like make those connections in the industry. And like our industry board members who like will reach out to students, wanting to make sure that they're getting involved with their companies and things like that. So they just always are providing a lot of opportunities for volunteering and working. And honestly, like you barely have to do anything. Just check your email inbox, and there's something there every week that you can get involved in. So they keep you up to date, and yeah, they really keep us up to date and like really push us towards success.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. I do have one more question and then we're gonna wrap up this presentation. But just what piece of advice or what one piece of advice do you have for just like prospective students? So students who are interested in getting their BBA and coming through to Georgia State and like graduating with a degree in hospitality, like what kind of advice do you have for them?
My soapbox, I keep saying like work, 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 like just get that experience. Because nobody can take that away from you. And again, I promise you guys, it makes you stand out to employers. I'd also say like feel free to explore things. When I started, I was just a hospitality major, and then I added a French minor. And then I dropped my French minor and added an art minor. And I was like, well, no, I don't want to do art. So then I added my second major in marketing. So just really take the time and like take advantage of the fact that Georgia State has so many different opportunities for education, and like, take the chance and just kind of explore things and find what you like. And that's also another thing about working is like, you might think you're interested in something, but then you get to the internship and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle another second of being here. And you're like, okay, that's not for me. Let's move on to the next one. So yeah, just don't be scared to explore. And it's okay if you don't know exactly what you want to do your first year. So definitely don't be too hard on yourself. So yeah.
Exactly. That was cool. That was a really good answer too, because like, yes, it's great to go out and get your internship and get your work experience and build upon that. But another important thing, like Hannah just mentioned, is like figuring out what it is that you don't want to do, right? Like it's okay to like narrow down your options so that you can, create a more like focused career path. Like go out and explore, and if you don't like something, that's fine. Like move on to the next thing and let's figure out like what other opportunities we can have for you. So thank you so much, Hannah, for answering our questions. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.
And so now just getting to like the end of our presentation, I'll keep this contact page up for you guys. So if you want to take a screenshot, please go ahead and do so. But if anyone has absolutely any questions, so if you have questions for Hannah, or if you have questions for Chow and I, we're both staff members here at the School of Hospitality. We are also alums of this program. So if you have questions for either of us, like please feel free to put that in the chat box or within the Q&A, or use your hand raise feature. We would love to hear from you guys if you have any questions. One thing to keep in mind is that yes, we are located at 35 Broad Street, which is like the main building for the Robinson College of Business. But we are only open on Tuesdays and Thursdays until the end of the semester, or until we break. We have a break for winter break. So please keep that in mind, that if you do visit us, like on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we might not see anybody there. So just be sure, like you give us a call or you send us an email if you do want to visit, just to be sure that somebody will be in the office to hear from you. And thank you so much, Chow. Like Chow just put in the chat that you can go ahead and check our website if you have any questions about the things that we mentioned here today. A lot of the information that we talked about is on our website, but again, I will be sending out an email right after this presentation so that you guys have options or you guys are able to visit those links that we talked about before. And I'll also include the flyers on there too. So do we have any questions? Did we answer everybody's questions? That's awesome. If that is the case.
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you so much, Hannah, for being here today. And Shannon too. You guys are superstar. Hannah, I have to give full credit to you because we are just the bridge to connect you to the industry, but you are the one that, perform and deserve all of those. So definitely you've been working very hard. So this really proved that any student can be successful like you. And you're not even graduated yet, and you have so much stuff on your resume already. I think the only thing that you should be worried is you need to, maybe later you have to decide which company to pick to go for, because there might be too many offered to you. Yeah. But yeah, any student really, if you work hard and willing to push yourself out there, you will be like Hannah. You will be a superstar. So stay in touch. If you haven't applied to Georgia State, that will be your first step in becoming a successful hospitality student. I don't see any questions in the chat box or the Q&A box. But if any student, I see that we do have a lot of attendees here. If you would like to ask us any question, we do have a few minutes left. You can just raise your hand or I can unmute you and you can ask the question directly to us. I hope that there should be a hand feature icon on the bottom of your screen. And if you click on that, I can unmute you. Oh, it looked like we have one question came through. We have a question from Jashir. Are you able to help with marketing student too? Shannon? Anna?
So like, are we able to help with marketing students? Do you mean like if a marketing major were to come into our office and needed work experience, can we help you out? I mean, we would be able to help you. I mean, it would be an internship that's more focused within hospitality. So if you're looking for more like marketing experience, but it's more like on the sales side or something like that, then I would highly suggest you visit like the marketing department so that you can get more specific to marketing assistance. But if you are interested in combining your interests between like hospitality and marketing and you want to be able to like pair that up and you're trying to figure out how, then of course, like, yeah, we're more than welcome to help you out with that. And so, what, I also want to open the floor to Hannah and just ask her like, why to hospitality and marketing, and maybe that can help answer this question too.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, Chow or Shannon, like when you send the email out, like please feel free to like include my information if people have questions or like want to get in touch. But I chose to add marketing because I mentioned like I had a minor in art. Like I definitely have more of a like creative itch, I guess, that I wanted to scratch, and marketing kind of added that in for me. And at first I thought I wanted to do like specifically event management, but as I got more involved, I started in like, getting different experience. I was like, maybe like event marketing, like brand management, and a little bit more into the advertising side, but doing all that within the hospitality industry. So that's kind of why I went on and added a marketing major, because I thought, it would add a lot of value for what I was wanting to do. And as I've been in my marketing classes as well, like it's just really opened up my eyes to so many different opportunities I could have, like in the brand management or advertisement and that type of thing, or integrated communications for these different companies. So, but if you have any specific questions about the marketing side, like I'm happy to answer those too. I'm definitely way more involved in the hospitality school, and so that's like my main focus, and marketing was kind of like the add-on. But it's been very helpful in helping to like focalize what I want to do.
Awesome, thank you. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, we have one more question from Darius. Are there clear pathways for individuals that are interested in blending learning a new language along with hospitality?
I would honestly say that learning a language is honestly helpful for any part of your career. It's just like the question is like, what do you think you would enjoy more? Like, would you rather work for a travel organization? So like thinking of like, would you rather work for Delta, and work for an international brand like that? Or would you rather do something more it might not be like heavily travel orientated, but maybe something more on the lines of like tourism. So like you can, like work in the government and have a hospitality degree and combine that with the language, or even working for Disney, which is another like tourism spot or tourism destination. So it really, the real question is, or the answer is, yes, you can combine languages and hospitality, but then like, bouncing the question back to you, like what do you enjoy doing? Yeah.
And I just to add on, like I was originally like a French minor, and I would say like that's an easy pathway to make yourself. It's just like adding on a minor in a language. And I took a few classes. I didn't finish the minor, but like even just through a few classes, you really start to like get a hang of and learn the language a bit more. And like Shannon said, no matter what area of business you go into, our world's becoming more and more globalized, so it's almost essential to at least be bilingual. But yeah, there's like within hospitality, there's so many places that being bilingual or having multiple languages can like open a lot of doors for you.
Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, no problem, Darius. No, I think let me double check one last time. Yeah, I don't think we have any more questions. Yeah, and no problem, Josh here. We hope we answered your questions.
Okay, so then with that, we are going to go ahead and wrap up this presentation. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for asking your questions. They were really good questions too. So like we were saying before, if you want to contact us or if you want to be able to just learn more about hospitality and like how we can, combine whatever your current interest is with hospitality, please feel free to send us an email at hospitality@gsu.edu. We look forward to hearing from you guys. So with all of that being said, we are just going to go ahead and end this presentation. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.